This is always the most awkward part. I usually just chatter.
Well, that's the way to do it. So,
Totally. All right. Hey, so I am Bethany Quinn, and I'm here with Jay Frisby, who is my roommate and also an actor, and we're going to chat about his career and all kinds of things while I attempt to make pad thai. I have definitely never made pad thai before, so this will be interesting. So while we're chatting just now, I'm going to start cutting up some of the stuff, and then I'll be tossing it in with, things to make.
Nice.
Anyway, so how's it going?
Good.
Cool, cool, nice.
Always a fan of pad thai and Thai food in general.
That's right.
So.
This will be good if we can get this going
exactly.
at home, right? And also, if I don't burn down the house,
yes.
that would be that would be a twofer right there.
No, we've been so spoiled by everything you've been cooking, and it's.
That's very sweet of you to say.
That's true, though.
You are like the first beneficiary of my cooking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway,
but it's good. I think you've been safely sharing some of it with us.
Totally safely, especially when I don't take like a solid 5 minutes to determine if a lime is edible or not.
True.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry in these times,
Anyway, yeah, no, that projectile vomiting really isn't the kind of thing that you want to do.
Not so much.
Like when you're avoiding going to the healthcare facilities.
Yeah.
Anywho, so now that we've talked about projectile vomiting, so you actually have like a pretty interesting career for an actor. Because like you've been all over the world, and you like also like not many people can say that they like acting is their main thing that they do.
Yeah.
So like congratulations.
Thank you very much.
But tell me, so how did you start doing theater?
So I've been doing theater since probably I was professionally 11 years old.
Wow. Cool.
But I guess I got my start at Toby's Dinner Theater.
Okay.
In Columbia, Maryland.
Nice.
Which is great. It's this dinner theater that puts on amazing productions, and so many actors have come out of there, especially in the New York and DC area. So that's where I got my start in something called the Young Columbians, which was this
gang cartel. No, just kidding.
Totally kidding. We could take on some gang cartels. But it was we did reviews of like American music throughout the decades and things like that. And
cool.
we did a Christmas review and a Broadway show review.
Very
it was just
fun.
like really good training ground to kind of build up what it's like to perform weekly and then daily and things like that.
Okay. Yeah. So what was your first part that you did?
My first part was as in kindergarten, Caps for Sale. We did that book about the guy who sells all these different caps and things.
That's adorable.
Yeah,
that's really cute. So who were you in the play?
I was the Caps for Sale.
The Caps for Sale guy. That is really, really cute.
And I got the bug. I think my mom knew early on that I enjoyed theater, and so she signed me up for summer camps and things like that. I was Shere Khan in The Jungle Book. And,
okay.
She sewed me that little nice vest costume with tiger print. So that's where it all started.
Cute. Very cute. That's exciting. And so you continued acting, and then you went to Yale for college, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what made you decide to go to Yale, actually?
So, I think my head might be cut off, so I think I'm gonna...
Oh, yeah, totally. Here, sorry, let me move this up.
I just, like, doing the
decapitation is another thing we try to avoid.
Yes. So I was definitely deciding between conservatories or a liberal arts degree.
Right.
And I kind of fell in love with Yale when I went to visit. My dad went there for law school, and I had a lot of other interests as well as theater. So that's a way that I could kind of pursue those and then figure out what I wanted to do.
Cool. What were some of the other big things that you were really excited about?
I was totally big into politics in high school.
Sure.
I graduated.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, yeah. I'm just kidding.
Totally kidding.
And so that was something that I was definitely interested in.
Sure.
Also psychology and things like that. But it turned out my freshman year that the Psych 101 class and the Theater 101 class had the exact same overlapping time.
Interesting.
So I was like, got to make the choice, and theater won out in that moment.
Well, it seems to have turned out very well for you.
I'm very lucky for that. Yes.
So tell me about college. You did some fun things then.
Totally. I I was in a dance group called Yale Dancers, which I didn't have much dance experience, but it was kind of one of those things where it's like, work on your weakest strength.
Totally.
And so that was a great way to do that. I ended up, my focus as a theater studies major was actually dance theater, which was an up-and-coming concentration at that time. But I had this amazing teacher, Emily Coates, who used to be in the New York LA, and I apologize if I got that wrong, but it was really great way to learn about the history of dance and choreography techniques. And I also was in a cappella. I spent way too much time focusing on a cappella as opposed to actual classes. But it's good. I got to travel a lot with the Dukes Men and then eventually with the Dukes during my senior year.
Awesome. Yeah, you traveled around the world, right?
Yeah. So,
where all did you go?
So we went to, I think, in total 17 different countries during our year.
Okay.
So basically the way it works is if you're able to, a lot of the guys take a year off from school, and we do as many concerts as possible to raise money for the trip, and then we take the trip during that summer. This, I think, was the summer of 2009 when we went. Cool. And it's a great experience, and I, especially now during this lockdown, I'm so grateful to have had it.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Who knows when we're going to be traveling again?
Exactly, yeah.
So what was your, do you remember the list of countries, actually?
I do. It was, this sounds so gross, but it was, we went to Japan first, then Japan, Thailand, China, Nepal, India, South Africa, I think Israel, Greece, Turkey. Then we had like a week or so off that we could just go wherever we wanted to get away from each other, basically, just because we've been traveling so long together. I went to Amsterdam, which was a lot of fun. Then we went to I think we were in Paris, and then I don't have the entire list offhand, but it's
totally fine. That's very cool. Wait, did you go to South America at all?
So we did during our spring break. We went to Chile, which is really,
I love Chile.
Really
Santiago or
Santiago,
other parts?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. I spent a summer there. Did I tell you that?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I had a very interesting summer class where we, it was like a politics class, or it was sort of, I majored in Latin American studies. So we went, and I actually ended up meeting Michelle Bachelet, who went on to become the president after that.
That's
and
amazing.
Because my professor was, he was a student at the time of the coup in Chile. And so he and his friend, his like high school BFFs were, captured, detained, tortured. And then when the Pinochet regime was ousted, they went on to become the heads of government. So
that's amazing.
It was very cool.
What was the course you were taking?
I can't remember. It was a study abroad thing. So it was like a dedicated class for this.
Okay.
So it was like, I don't know, history of Chilean politics and things. I should make Peruvian food sometime. My professor had this, I was a terrible student, and I wasn't that bad, but I was like not a great student. And I don't remember much about the class, but what I do remember was there was this one day where my professor it was this very long kind of droning lecture. Sorry, professor. Where my professor was talking about the war of 95 or something. And so the Chilean army marched through the Atacama Desert into Peru. And have you ever been to Peru? Have you had Peruvian food? There are 3 great cuisines. And he goes on to just wax poetic about how amazing Peruvian food. Anyway, sorry.
No, I don't. So
tangent,
I actually, I don't know much about Peruvian food. Is there a certain?
Oh yeah, I'll make it sometime. Okay. Ceviche is sort of one of those things that a bunch of different countries claim, but like Peru has a thing. Ooh, actually, what was the thing that I had? Like ají de gallina or something, which was de gallina, which is it was like I don't know, just like a mayonnaise, and it was like chicken and mayonnaise and a bunch of different things that were really good. They eat guinea pig there, which I don't see us getting access to here, but that is, I didn't actually get to eat it. I actually, the day that I went to Machu Picchu, I came down from Machu Picchu, and I was in the sort of like the town at the base of Machu Picchu, Aguascalientes. And I was like, I'm going to do something really Peruvian, like to enjoy my time. I'm going to have some ceviche.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought out this big plate of ceviche, and on top of it were these 3 red rounds. And I was like, oh, this is like tomato or something, right?
It was not.
It was not. It was ají oroto, which was the hottest type of chili pepper.
Oh.
And at the time, I didn't even do anything spicy. So I was like, my mouth was just like dying. And it took me a while to figure out like what I could like eat or drink to like fix it. I think they call it like choclo, but it's actually like hominy actually is quite good for absorbing spice. But anyway, so I couldn't taste anything for the rest of my trip in Peru,
oh my goodness.
which was really tragic. But yeah, I think I tried alpaca, which was really good, but I couldn't really taste it that well. But anyway.
Wait, so what was Machu Picchu like?
You've seen the photo? No, I'm just kidding. It's gorgeous. You know, I'm not. It's really gorgeous. I just kind of took the train up.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. They tell you about sort of like how they use the different spaces in Machu Picchu, and that was kind of interesting. But like, I don't know. I think I just was mostly in the mood to like I like going someplace and kind of living there and like getting into like the daily routine of whatever it is and like trying the different like local food and making friends and stuff like that. So stuff like that, I mostly just go up and like take a picture and I'm like,
totally.
But anyway, yeah. Did you see John Oliver a while back? He did a special on Mount Everest.
Oh no.
And it's a really good one, but he's talking about how it's becoming really touristy. And it's incredibly dangerous because it's this like grueling trip, but people who are like basically total amateurs will go and they'll take this trip, but they have what are they called? Sherpas.
Yeah.
And so they are the Sherpas are the ones who basically end up doing like all of this work, like carrying people's stuff and like taking it across these dangerous places. But because it's so crowded, to get up to the peak, there's only like a small season when you can go up to Mount Everest, and to get to the peak there's like a very narrow like one or two person
in a
can fit up this crevice or whatever, or this not crevice, this path. And so it ends up being really dangerous because you end up having like really long lines of people getting up to the top. And like, if you're not, and so like having inexperienced hikers, like you only have a certain amount of time. So people end up getting like stuck.
Oh, wow.
Like people died because they were just like
bottleneck. There
was one woman who died who like, when she started, when she went, it was almost like she had never hiked before. Like they had to teach her like basic hiking technique of like, here's how you like, I don't even know, like use an anchor and like whatever. So anyway, but craziness.
Scary.
Anyway, but we're not going to Mount Everest because that is a shit show.
Yes.
So Chile, but you enjoyed it.
Chile was amazing.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough that part of the group got to stay at the ambassador's home, which was gorgeous.
That's amazing. Were you in that part of the group?
I was.
That's
really
so
lucky.
fantastic.
And they showed us around the city, and then we just had this wonderful day of kind of just roaming around and exploring. And I was struck by it. Just the one thing I do remember is there were so many dogs around, which I thought really cool.
Yeah,
and just like these outdoor cafes, which were amazing. So it was a great time in Chile. And we went to this vineyard in kind of a little bit out from the city, and it was hosted by these I guess the owners of the vineyard.
Wait, was this Country Toro?
Country Toro!
Oh my god, I did the same thing! Did you do the five-course meal where they pair everything?
We did do that. Oh my god, Country Toro!
It's so good. Yes, beautiful there.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, you see that like the Casillero del Diablo and everything like that?
We went during the evening by the time we got there and did like a small concert for them, so I didn't get to see too much.
Oh, that's so funny. Cool. Oh my god, yeah. No, so Country Toro is really. We should get some Country Toro wine
just because
totally.
Of like,
which is great because it's like very discount and like
exactly.
Yeah, but it's totally solid. So yeah. No,
but Chile was wonderful.
That's awesome.
And just getting to fly over South America, it's hard to actually understand what the Andes look like.
Yeah, totally. It's very cool.
So
Um,
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is awesome. So besides Chile, like what were some of your favorite places that you traveled to?
Some really cool places. I think Nepal was probably one of my favorites.
Okay.
Just because actually Yale alumni, Kasang Sherpa,
Okay.
is her name. She hosted us and they showed us all around Kathmandu and these ancient temples and rivers and things like that. And
Wow.
I ended up actually doing my thesis project based on this trip, and one of the dance pieces I made was based off of some time in Kathmandu at these temples and at the rivers and things like that.
Oh, that's amazing.
So
Shit, let me not chop my finger off. That would be a problem. It would be a whole thing. No, that's really, really cool.
Yes. And then we sang in South Africa at the Guguletu Township. We were lucky to get to partner with the Morgan State Choir,
Okay.
who was there at the same time, and that was amazing. Just amazing, right? But it was enlightening to get to see the difference between South Africa, which their harbor looks like the Baltimore Harbor, right? Very like pristine, amazing, beautiful, and then you see the disparity in different parts of the city. That's very serious. So that was, and the people were incredible.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just putting the rice noodles into the boiling water.
But
As soon as I do. That's really cool.
so this all looks delicious. So.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I have mad chopping skills.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So what else? What was? Let's see. What? Oh, well, actually, I wanna talk about your time working at Disney World.
Yeah, Disney was great.
Was the Disney? Wait, what do they call it in Hong Kong?
Disneyland, Hong Kong.
Disneyland, Hong Kong. Okay.
I think so. Cool. It was great. It was for about 6 or 7 months.
Okay.
It's not too long of a contract, but I was doing Festival of the Lion King there, which is kind of like an abridged version of the actual full Lion King show.
Okay. Cool.
And it was. I loved working for Disney. It's like you take a break if you do 2 shows a day, and then go ahead.
I get it. Yeah. 2 shows a day.
2 shows a day, and then the rest of the time you like go to the gym or go to Space Mountain or something like that.
Fun.
Which is a lot of fun.
Nice.
The funniest thing though is the rides were a little bit slower.
Okay.
At Hong Kong Disneyland.
Huh.
But
did they explain why?
I think when they first opened, the crowds complained that it was a little bit too fast. That could be just a wide scale.
Yeah.
But still very fun, and just getting to explore Hong Kong and it's a beautiful city, absolutely beautiful city. So I'm glad that they're starting to recover right now.
Yeah, seriously. That's very cool. All right. Yeah. So what was the craziest thing that happened to you while you were working at Hong Kong Disneyland?
Nothing super crazy happened. One of the big things that was like a running thing throughout the show is that there was this aerialist who would come out during the song "Can You Feel the Love Tonight?"
Okay.
And they would be on this wire in the center of it's a theater in the round.
Mm-hmm.
And they would do this amazing aerial, routine. And then they'd be dropped down or lowered down, and then they'd kind of be whisked off the stage. But oftentimes, at least once every 2 weeks or so, the line would catch, and so we'd have to hold the show. And then to wait for them. And it is the most professionalist, they are the most professional people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They would sit there flying around. Yeah.
Okay, listen. Don't really have a better strainer than this wrong pot.
So they'd be in midair, still just kind of circling around from the momentum, and they would never break a smile. They would just keep circling until
circling until the line
the line was either fixed, or at one point we had to hold the show and they had to bring out
a ladder.
Yes, a ladder
to
bring them down.
That's so crazy.
But they never
But they never fell.
Never fell.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, this wasn't like Spider-Man.
No. Nothing like that.
Have you seen Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
I have. Okay. I haven't seen the whole series, but I love that show.
Have you seen the part when when they what is it with Titus, where he's in trying to audition for the Lion King?
Yeah, that was like my life story for a while. So it's like,
really?
Of course.
That's really funny. Wait, in what sense was that your life story?
I think a lot of actors have gone in for the actual Lion King many times.
Got it. Yeah. So you've done that a number of times. Awesome.
I mean, those early days of auditioning in New York they're tough if you're non-equity, and the lines start at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning.
Jesus.
So gotta get there early.
Wow.
And things like that.
Oh, so how often do they hold auditions?
So there is an audition season, mostly from like January through March, but auditions are pretty much year round. But that's like the height of the season. And during that time, it's like basically there's a difference if you're equity or non-equity in terms of when you get seen and things like that. And especially when you're first starting out, you can wait for hours and never get seen, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a grind. I'll say that.
Okay.
But you kind of get into the rhythm of just like going and getting there and doing what you got to do.
Okay. So you lived in New York for a while?
I've lived in New York from I think 2010 until 2016, 17 or so.
Okay.
Yeah. Various different places and in and out with shows and things like that. But,
cool.
Yeah.
How did you like New York?
I loved it for a long time. I think there's a lot of great stuff about New York. I lived all over. I was in Brooklyn first, and then I think Harlem, and then eventually my last place was on the Upper East Side.
Okay,
so,
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's all over the place. It was a 6th-floor walk-up that used to be a tuberculosis.
Holy shit!
Beautiful apartment, but just like
6 stories up.
6 stories up.
Wow, you never need to go to the gym.
Exactly.
Wow, silver linings, I guess.
Exactly.
That is very, very cool.
Yeah, New York was lovely.
Nice. That's awesome. So were you in any shows that I would have heard of while you were up there?
So while I was up there, I was mostly doing regional theater, or different tours and things like that. I was on the South Pacific National Tour with Chase.
Which is how you met Chase, yeah.
And
who were you in South Pacific?
I was one of those CBs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
we got that. And there's nothing like a dame, all that fun stuff.
Okay, fun.
And what else? I did this fringe festival show that ended up going off Broadway. I wasn't in the off Broadway thing.
Okay.
But it was called Jurassic Park the musical. Eventually, Triassic Park the musical, which was a lot of fun. It was based off of the movie.
Right.
It was from the perspective of the dinosaurs and things like that.
Please explain.
It's by this brilliant playwright Marshall Palett and Steve Wargo.
Okay.
And it's basically the dinosaurs coming to terms with their existence.
Okay.
Things like that. Through songs and crude but hilarious jokes and things like that. So,
so what's an example of like one of the jokes or songs or something?
I'm trying to think. I haven't. Well, the opening song, it's like they take the theme from Jurassic Park.
Okay.
And they put it to like, we are dinosaurs, we are dinosaurs.
Nice.
Like that.
That's
but it was
awesome.
I think that year it won for like best musical.
Okay.
In the Fringe Festival. So that was one of those. But
that's very cool.
I'm not sure what Triassic Park itself is like, which was the later iteration of off Broadway.
Got it. That's kind of awesome. Mm-hmm. Nice. So what are some of do you have any favorite shows that you've been in?
Favorite shows I've been in? Good question. Let's see. I do have a soft spot for South Pacific. I've been in like 3 productions of it over the years.
Okay.
Favorite shows? That's always a tough question.
Of course.
Always ready to answer. I think there are a lot of. Well, what are some of your favorite shows that you've seen recently? I don't have a good.
Ooh, I'm so bad about this recently.
Well, it's been hard recently.
Yeah, right. Well, with all of the not being able to go outside, honestly, let's see. I was in. I did some theater in high school. I was in. Was I in? I was in Jesus Christ Superstar. I stage managed. I think I stage managed Les Miserables.
Oh, nice.
And I was in Into the Woods. I was in like the chorus. What's the other one? Oh no! And then I was I was abroad the other year for the musical. So.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. But
those are, I mean, technically I've never seen Jesus Christ Superstar, but every now and then I'll go back and just watch the 10th anniversary concert of Les Mis. Just
yes, because it's
so
great.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Like Rent is obviously great.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah. What are your favorite shows?
I haven't done Rent, but a couple years ago I was in Annie with the original Angel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which was awesome.
Very cool.
He was amazing and talented.
Oh wow! From Rent.
From Rent, yes.
That's so cool. What are they? What are their pronouns?
He. Yes.
He.
William,
what are his what is he like?
He's awesome, kind, and hilarious.
That's fantastic.
Which is really cool.
Nice.
Some of my favorite shows are Ragtime, Les Mis. I have a soft spot for Matilda. Did that this past summer.
Cool.
Which was really. I didn't know the show before, but it's got a big heart, and
okay.
It's great to see. There were so many kids in it, and just to see how much they enjoyed it, like reminded me, oh yeah, this is like the innocence of theater. When
you're a kid, and yeah. You don't have to worry about the rent.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yes. Well, there's this great fund right now that Theater Washington is putting on to raise money for
that's so great.
actors in the area.
Okay, cool.
It's called Taking Care of Our Own.
Okay, taking care of our own. Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Let's add a link up there once we sign off. Very cool. That's great. Yeah. So what else? I mean, obviously, like COVID is a shit show right now. Have you heard of anything that people are doing that's besides the great fun that everyone should contribute to?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of anything else exciting that people are doing during this?
I think there are a lot of plays that are going to be written and festivals and things like that regarding COVID. And I think people are just kind of, in some ways, I think actors have had to go through, most of them, have to go through periods where you're not working. Right. So you got to make things work. I think the idea, though, is that it's a little bit different now because it's indefinite. Right. And I think we're all just kind of concerned about how it's going to reopen, and in terms of the safety for theaters and things like that. Or at least that's what's been on my mind. Yeah. But I think they're coming up with really great plans in terms of how to combat that and how to prepare for it. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I totally don't have the type of vinegar they recommend, so I think I'm going to add sake in this.
Oh, great.
Okay. But that's great. That's good that they're
people are trying to prepare for it.
Have you heard of anything? I should not be projecting into the other room and pretending like anyone besides you can hear me. Very cool. So let's see what else. What was I going to ask you about?
So the last show I did was this really great show called Miss You Like Hell.
Yeah.
At Only Theater.
Okay.
Which was it's written by the writer of In the Heights, not the music writer, but the book writer.
Okay.
And the story revolves around a mother trying to reconnect with her daughter, and the mother happens to be undocumented, and it's kind of their story.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Saved it. There we go.
There we go. All right. I will stop dropping things. We can proceed. Great. Okay. Wow, that's really awesome.
It's their story of kind of reconnecting and learning about each other through this kind of cross-country journey. And it was cool. The coolest thing about it was, I mean, besides the story, it was that it's got a really, it calls for a very diverse cast in terms of ages and everything. And so it was a pretty small cast, but we all got very, very close, which is great. I think the oldest cast member was in his late 60s, if not 70s, and the youngest was 15, and she was the star of the show. So it became this little family.
That's awesome.
Really lovely.
So when did you finish the full run of that before this happened?
We did. We did get to finish the film, which was nice.
That's good. Yes. And how I know I've been, you've been auditioning up in your room, which is awesome because we get to hear you sing sort of from a distance, but also
it's a unique.
It's great, but also we'll hear you dancing sometimes for auditions, and it's very amusing. Just from downstairs because we just hear something. I'm sure it's fantastic dancing. But how's that going? Have you?
It's good. I mean, I think about 2 weeks ago it was really heavy in terms of the calls for auditions and things like that. I'm getting the sense now, though, that theaters are starting to kind of pull back on that a little bit, just because
it's not clear.
stuff is kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was actors are used to kind of, sometimes you have to self-submit for something, especially for film and television. But for musical theater, if you can get there, it's easier.
Right,
but
of course.
all of us, it's funny, I got to talk to all my DC theater friends about doing the same routine together. All of us learning this routine, this dance routine, and then trying to film it.
Nice. Yeah, that's got to be a little challenging from like webcams and things with.
Yeah, different setup. Yeah, you kind of.
You don't have my mad tripod skill.
Exactly.
By the way, I don't actually think I've showed the viewing audience my exciting tripod. This is, wait, can you see it? Yes, this is my tripod right there. So I have a big pot. Anyway, but yeah, well, that's good. So have you heard back from any of those, or?
Not at the moment. So
okay.
Fingers crossed, and we'll see.
Crossing my fingers.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Let's see.
So, what was your first introduction to Thai food?
That is a good question that I should definitely remember the answer to, and I don't know that I do. Probably maybe in late high school. You went, because I grew up in the DC area, so it's not like, I mean, DC has I'm really lucky that DC has such a diverse like food selection. But let's see, how much was I supposed to be doing? But I don't think, like, it wasn't like Thai was something that I grew up eating particularly. Maybe, I think it was probably in high school we went to a Thai restaurant at some point, and I was like, this is delicious.
I think mine was freshman year of college. We had this one street that had, I think, 3 or 4 Thai restaurants specifically.
Nice.
That was a go-to.
That's awesome.
Delicious. Yes.
Ooh, there we go. I think that's how I was supposed to do that. Sorry.
Whatever works.
Anyway, nice. Yeah. So is what's your favorite thing to eat in Thai food? Is it pad Thai or something
I think
else?
curry.
Nice. Yeah, totally. Mine too. That is one of my favorites. Yeah. Although I've gotten into pad Thai recently, but nice. So what are you planning to do as soon as, like, what's the first non-work thing that you're planning to do out of the house as soon as this lets up?
That's a good question. First non-work thing. I would probably I work a lot, and so most of the time it's
That's true. You do.
I used to.
Yeah.
They're probably maybe go to the movies, just like watch a movie.
Nice.
In the theater.
In a big crowd.
Yes, exactly. No, but maybe go on a big walk. I love to walk by the monuments and things like that.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Like
very
when
cool.
it's all clear, that would be a lovely thing. How about yourself?
Sounds awesome. I will probably go to Taqueria del Barrio on the corner and get my favorite kind of margarita, which is they do like a spicy margarita, but they do it special for me. So they have what do they do? They do just a margarita with a little bit of, they have a jalapeno simple syrup. So they put just a dash of that in, less than they would for their normal spicy one. And I've recently started doing, they have, what's it called? It's totally not going to come to me, but it's a chili lime sauce.
Okay.
That is very delicious. And so they rim the glass with that. So yes, but my goal. Actually, maybe this will go well. Actually, this would probably go well with margaritas. I feel like would go well with pad Thai, right?
Yeah,
the lime and
yeah.
So maybe I think I'll probably just make us. If you're up for a margarita, I might just make us margaritas to go with this pad Thai because I miss margaritas so much.
Oh my gosh, there was a sushi place I used to go to that had hot chili infused sake. It was delicious.
Nice. I love sake. It is one of my favorites.
Speaking of taco, the place you're talking about, I think the first place I'm going to go is get some pho.
Nice.
I'd like to go to a pho restaurant.
The Faviette?
Actually, no, this one's out in Albany, Maryland.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Delicious.
Very cool. Well, the Faviette is actually very close and very good. Yeah.
It's like right off New Hampshire, right?
Right,
okay.
right. But yeah, no, it's good stuff. Okay, I think we are at the point where I am ready to like put stuff together. Theoretically. Come on. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, and then I just need to beat an egg. Let's do that in. All right, here we go to the adventure. It's supposed to be pretty quick at this point.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, all right. I'm not entirely sure which of these is mine. All right. So we'll do 2 eggs, and then that'll be that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so if you were talking to kids who wanted to get into acting, what would you tell them?
To definitely, to take as many classes, or even if you can't take a class, to look up as many artists as you can. It's one of the biggest things is to just learn as much as you can about steal, copy, as much as you can from the performers that you admire, right?
Cool.
And that's a really good way to kind of start. And also, never shy away from like the fundamental basics. Like if you're able to access classical vocal training, do that. If you can take a ballet class or look up online, do that. You'd be surprised how much those fundamentals really do help so much with everything.
Cool.
Else.
Okay. Nice.
And especially for the guys out there, it can be scary, like being the only guy in a class or something like that.
Right.
But it's worth it if it's something that you're actually interested in. And
Yeah.
I think it's to stick with it if that's something that you really want to do. Yeah.
Very cool. Nice. All right.
And also just to, I had a teacher who told me, like, there comes a point, early on in your career that if you actually want to do this, you have to stop watching theater for fun and start watching it critically.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To really analyze, like, you can't just sit back and be like, oh, this is amazing. You have to be like, what are they doing? What can they do better? What are they doing perfectly? Things like that.
Okay.
And just really, every show you go to, just watch it with a critical eye as opposed to just sitting back, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, totally. That's very cool. Oops. I may have cooled our fridge down a little bit too much.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to those limes. Nice. So, that is awesome. So, Tropical Dream Vacation.
Oh,
or not tropical. Dream Vacation.
Ooh.
After this is done, where do you want to go?
Well, the funny thing is, I was planning on going to Thailand this March.
Oh, that's cool. Can you grab that?
Oh, yeah,
actually,
sure.
cool. Yeah. You were going to, that's, oh man, that hurts.
Right there? Or?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
So, in like this March or next March? Like,
it was
like last month?
March.
Okay.
But
so what
I
happened?
had a couple weeks between shows.
Got it.
But then shows got canceled and all this happened.
Oh.
So thankfully, it
hurts.
Yes. So it goes.
Okay.
But so I probably would want to
do that.
That
thing that you were supposed to do.
Yeah. How about you?
I really want to go to Ireland. I love Ireland. I went. That was actually, I think that was my last international trip. And I just really love. It's just such a beautiful country. I don't know. It's weird. It has very similar weather to England, but England, I was like, the city is gross. And Ireland, I was like, this is so charming and beautiful. But no, it's just a very warm and welcoming city. And, I befriended a significant percentage of the service industry there. Or the restaurant industry. Because, I had a crazy night of bar hopping with one of the bartenders who I befriended, or some of the bartenders who I befriended. So that was fun.
And I've flown over and flown into Dublin, and the countryside looked beautiful. So I'd love to actually get out of the airport.
Totally. All right. So, be downstairs. That might be 8 ounces, right? I have no
Right,
idea
right,
how
no,
much. This
fine.
looks like actually, I think it is actually.
Yeah.
Wow. Sweet. Well,
I think so.
yeah.